You walked in, this is a magnificent and large exhibition which gives you a chance to interact with all universities across the board and of course check out new avenues for vocations. With that being said, we wish you all the very best. Thank you for being here with us. It shows that you're very interested in knowing what you can do in future and leading a great life. The question always is put before you, what will you do after your 10th? What will you do after your 12th? You know, bringing a lot of youngsters into a lot of tension and the parents into even more tension. Well, this next session is going to set your tensions free because we have a gentleman here who over the last 5 years and across 100-odd sessions has given guidance and information to over 10,000 students and parents to choose and select the right career. Now, he's a gentleman who has not only experience in sharing of his experiences also, but also close to about 10 years in the corporate field, both in India and abroad. He has founded Career Corner. He's a career expert. And of course, besides being a career expert, he's also involved with society, having been the founder and advisor for the NGO called Spandan. As far as studies are concerned, he's extremely brilliant. He's been an engineer from Pune University and finally did his MBA from IIM Ahmedabad. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, to tell you how you can better your life by choosing the right career after the 10th or 12th, please welcome career expert Rishikesh Humbe. Good morning, Rishikesh, and welcome. Friends, before we start, to get the best of the presentation, I'd like you to please ensure that your mobiles, connected devices are silent while you're in the hall. Please also remain seated while the session is on. And if you need to ask a question, please put your hand up, a mic will come around. Do identify yourself, your name. If you're already working somewhere, then do identify with that because it'll help Rishikesh and our other presenters give you the right answer. So with that, over to you, Rishikesh. Thank you so much.
Good morning, all of you. I'm a Maharashtrian, so I can also say Suprabhat Mumbai. It's always been a pleasure to be here as a speaker and share whatever I learned till date and whatever experiences I have. So, thanks for a kind introduction. I started an education initiative called Disha some time back. Recently, we renamed it as a Career Corner. So, I'm doing this for the last 5 years, and as the introduction said, I have helped more than 10,000 students with their career decision. And one of the very important career decision in everyone's life is career decision after your 10th or 12th, because you are at the crossroad of your career and then you have to decide, okay, where you have to take your career from there. So we'll start this seminar with the topic which is career after 10th and 12th. So as far as this session goes, agenda is, we'll talk about what is career planning. We'll talk about what is the relationship between your personality and career, and then we'll talk about course options after SSC, diploma option, degree options. Then we'll talk about career options in arts, then science, commerce, engineering, medical science, design, law, defense services. And because this whole session is a lot of information which students tend to forget when they go back home, I would like to share a story of temple with you. So then we'll take some question and answer. You can always write me after the session as well. So what exactly is career planning? See, career planning in India is either default or is been forced. Now let me tell you what is default career planning. After 10th or 12th, if you're thinking only after becoming engineer or a medical professional, that's a default career options. And the force is when someone else is telling you what you should be doing. So maybe your parents, maybe your siblings, telling you that, okay, only if you become an engineer, you will be successful in your life. Only if you become an MBA, you will be successful in life. So these are the options I called as a forced, and I gone through all these because my father wanted me to become a doctor, and I wanted to become an engineer. So since my 10th, I realized that I have inclinations towards math. Physics is something which interests me. So I always wanted to become an engineer. But, and our parents, and we should be thankful to them because they take good care, give us a lot of support. So when I asked him, okay, why, Papa, you want me to become a doctor? And he said, okay, in our family, there's no one is a doctor. And my last hope is rest on you, that you become a doctor. I said, okay, good thought. Thanks for caring about me. But I don't find myself suitable for becoming a doctor. So the last option is a career which is planned, which seldom happens because we never plan our careers. We plan everything, but planning about career is one last thing we do. And why we need to plan a career? Because if you don't know where we are going, you will end somewhere else. अगर मुझे यहाँ से चर्च गेट जाना है, तो मुझे चर्च गेट वाला ही ट्रेन पकड़ना पड़ेगा. I can't just go and say, okay, let me go and catch up any train and it will lead me to the church gate. नहीं होता है. So career decisions are even complicated because you can't reverse them. If you wanted to become a doctor, you became an engineer, you can't say that, okay, नहीं यार अभी मैं फिर से जाके डॉक्टर का एग्जाम लिखता हूँ. Some extent it's possible, but it comes after losing that important time in your career. So knowing what you wanted to do is very important. Let me define what exactly is career planning. I mean, we hear a lot about that, we should plan. Career planning is nothing but it involves self-assessment, evaluation of available choices which you have on various factors, and then choosing a right career or academic course based on it. Now, I also don't like definitions, so let me simplify it for you. Self-assessment is nothing but asking yourself a question, what you are good at. And let me start this session with a premise that every one of us is good at something or else. Only thing is, we don't ask that question to ourselves, and we let others decide what we are good at. But when you ask others, they will always tell you what you are not good at. So people tell you what you are not good at. Tera maths अच्छा नहीं है, तेरा English अच्छा नहीं है, तेरा communication अच्छा नहीं है. But you are the one who has to find what you are good at. Again, I didn't have an opportunity to sit in a AC hall like this, listen to the expert and ask myself a question. So I did a simple thing. I asked myself, okay, what I like. And it boils down to I like maths, I like physics. So can I build a career in this area? What exactly in physics? It came like electronics. So I said, okay, electronics thoda interesting lagta hai. Then I looked upon in the market what is happening. Telecommunication was in boom those days. I took electronics and telecommunication engineering. And this process was very easy for me. But these days, you are complicating that process. Reason being, you are not asking that question. And second important thing is evaluation of available choices. I mean, everyone would like to go to the UK or USA and have a best possible education, but it's not possible. So there are various factors. When I should start earning, what time I need to give back to my family, or what is my time frame of learning and earning when I want to earn. All these factors you have to decide and then make a career choice. I will talk about that. And last thing is then being convinced, okay, what I'm doing is the right thing. When I speak to the students, I will tell you will shock at the statistics, 60 to 70% of them are not aware why they have chosen this course. They said, just because my friend is doing, just because my parent told me that, okay, this is the best course for me. Guys, I mean, you are at 18 year or 16 year of age and you have information on your fingertips, you need to use it. Now, because there is a lot of information, things become complicated. If you're not able to answer that question, there are tests available. We also do conduct this kind of test called career assessment test, which measures your capability, which measures your aptitude, and then say that, okay, these are the 4 or 5 careers matching to you. But even a counselor or external person can only show you the way. Until and unless you yourself is not convinced, you will not able to show that conviction when you are choosing that career. Now, there is an interesting correlation between your personality and career. And John Holland has done this study which says the choice of occasion is an expression of personality. Why I'm standing in front of you? Because I like speaking. And if you ask me to do it 100 times, I will not feel bored. So that's my personality. So if you choose your careers based on your personality, your chances of success improves. Let's look at what are these personalities. There are people who are doers or realistic, who can make career into agriculture, architecture, sports person, chef, engineer, gardener, police officer. All these people required to do things on their own. So if you don't like doing things on own, you should not get into career like this. Then there are people who are thinker or investigative in a nature. They like analyzing things, go into the details, and they make career as an actuary professional, computer science, economics, finance, lawyer, professor. All these professions required thinking. Then there are people who are creator or artistic in nature. Make a career as actor, poet, dancer, musician, painter, writer. Nothing wrong about it. I mean, if you are a creative person, you will not enjoy anything which is process driven. No point asking a creative person to go and electronic shop and sell mobile phones. I mean, he will find a creative ways of doing it, but still, if you are a creative person, you have to map yourself to the career which justifies your creativity. And then there are people who are helper or social in nature, and they make career as a babysitter, caretaker, education, nurse. Remember when last time you've been to a hospital. If there is a nurse who doesn't like patient, you feel where she is. She's into wrong profession. Neither she enjoy what she is doing, she can't make a justice with her career, nor the other people around her see her in that profession. And same happened with, like example, babysitter who doesn't enjoy playing with kids. I mean, her life as well as kids' life would be nightmare. And that's what happens with us. We make career choices based on X, Y, Z thing, but we don't ask, okay, what is my personality and what kind of careers I will be successful in. There are people who are persuader or enterprising in nature. They make career into administration, MBAs, communication, marketing, consultant. All these people like persuading others. If you go to any sales shop, that sales executive will try to make sure that whatever product he is selling is based in the world. And you will only buy when you are convinced, right? So these careers are something which require that ability. If I am putting an introvert person in a sales, he will fail and conclude that nahi yaar mereko to kuch bhi nahi aata hai. But he might be creative, or he might be a good organizer. So people who are good organizer make career as accountant, actuary profession, bankers, clerks, MBAs. If I have to give an example of an organized person, the best thing is about a person who is a clerk in a bank. How many of you seen that Mentos ad where thief enters into a bank? Even when thief enters and asks this clerk money, he said, can you write down the account number back of your slip? I mean, these kind of process orientation they have. If you go to them, they will strictly follow that process. Go to any McDonald's shop on a cash counter, they will follow same process. Go to any KFC shop. Why these people are like this? They are very well organized. Even MBAs need to be very well organized. So if you are not, you bound to be fail, or you bound to be struggle in those careers. Now let's look at the options you have. You did your 10th or HSC, which is called, as it called in Maharashtra, the HSC, which is as a 12th. Now after 12th, you have some of the courses which are talent-based courses. These courses doesn't require formal education. Take example, hairstyling, beautician, video jockey, makeup artist, choreographer. All these, you can do a small certificate, small duration certificate program and get into that career. But students look at these options as a shortcut to their success. In 10 years of my career, I have not discovered a shortcut to success. But what they do, because I said there is no formal education, they said, Papa, 6 months ka, 1 saal ka diploma hai, uske baad to I will be on my own. But you forget that, see, the talent-based career, there are a lot of people around who compete for that profession. If I ask you to list choreographers on your fingertips, you will struggle to list more than 5 or even 10. In country like us, if you only remember 10 choreographers, when there are thousands of them, what happened to the rest of them? So talent-based career, there is no shortcut. You have to build that talent. It might be for an informal education, but again, there is no shortcut. Then there are diploma courses, like couple of years, you can get into a job market quickly, like DED, hotel management, DMLT, travel and tourism, polytechnic, call center, flight attendant. All these courses are good if you wanted to hit the work as early as possible. Good for someone who wanted to contribute their family quickly, but you need not to stop at that level. Just because you are diploma, I won't ask you to stop at that level. Then you have graduation, then where you get degree, and then there is a post-graduation. Earlier, one generation before us, a graduation used to be sufficient to get into a job market. These days, post-graduation is minimum qualification. So I think at least you should be looking at PG. Now I'll give you an example. I was working in a manufacturing company as my first assignment on an assembly line. And one of the worker who I never seen, because he used to work in the night shift, came one day with a box of sweet and said, "Sir," I said, "what is the occasion?" He said, "I just cleared my PhD examination." I was shocked. A person who was ITR, which is a basic qualification required to get into a manufacturing company, getting into PhD, and I asked him more questions. What was your motivation of doing this? He said, "Sir, I didn't have money to afford education. I quickly did my ITR, started contributing to my family, but I always has a urge to become a professor. And I know that in this country, if you don't have to pay for professor job, you have to get a PhD." And then he worked during a night shift, attended college during the day, and not for 1 year, 5 years he pursued. So did his master's, then PhD, all this. So what I wanted to tell from this story is, you don't need to stop at any of these stages. If you have to stop, get back to work, there's nothing wrong about it. So, but you should always aim to continue your education further. After your 12th, you have a degree programs in science, arts, commerce, agriculture, management, engineering, medical, then you have a design, defense, and with these careers, you can get into either you can do after these careers MBA, civil services, you can get into education or diploma courses. So they are irrespective of whatever degree you are doing. But problem is, if you are being very specific at your degree level, it restricts your further education scope. I'll give you an example. Doing a BBA program after 12th will give you a default option of becoming MBA after your graduation for a post-graduation. Same thing if I do a BA or BCom, it gives me multiple options. So there is always a choice between doing a generic graduation or doing a very niche or focused graduation program. So that's a choice you have to make. And simple way of doing that, if you are very sure if you want to get into that field, like you know that design and fashion is only something which you wanted to do, then go for a specific graduate level course. We'll look into the graduate courses in detail, but I want to start something which you guys always start at end, and that's arts. The tendency in our society is arts should always come at the last. If you can't get into a science, commerce, chalo yaar, kuch nahi karne se arts kar lete. But let's look at what arts is. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Who has said that? Albert Einstein, who was one of the biggest scientists. Art is signature of civilization. What art students study, they study everything which relate to civilization. Philosophy, history. So if you don't like study of mankind, arts is not for you. And what it requires, the common denominator is you need to have a creativity, and all children are artists. The problem is how to remain an artist once he grows up. That's what the Picasso has said. So every one of us is artist. She is good at drawing, someone is good at painting, but we never thought, okay, this can be a career. So we look down arts careers, but there are plenty of options. Let me tell you, you can take a degree course in history, economics, political science, psychology, anthropology, geography, philosophy, linguistic, literature, even actuarial science if you have maths in 12th. And these kind of degree courses you can get into, and careers you can make after this is either teacher, anthropologist, archaeologist, economist, educationist, geographer, historian, linguistic, philosopher. If you feel that, okay, this path is little longer, I wanted to go into the vocational side, you can do a vocational program in social work, mass communication, journalism. I mean, the kind of print and digital media as well as the online and digital media is booming these days. You always need people who had a mass communication background. Then there is investment analysis, population studies, travel and tourism, food and nutrition. I mean, the society I stay in Hyderabad has a specialty MD doctor, okay, who has spent about 10 years learning medical field. And there is a nutrition or dietitian which is always also there. I always see the bigger crowd in front of the dietitian place, because these are the niche careers. Once you establish yourself, and we don't have that awareness that, okay, these can be a careers as well. So same with journalism. I mean, initially you struggle for a while, still establish yourself, but then you always have a rewarding career options. The second career which is suffering these days is science. And when I say suffering, because you don't see a link between science, graduation and employment. So bulk of us going into engineering thinking that engineering is giving you employment. But if I share the employability statistics with you, 60% of engineers in this country are unemployed. So science is something which you need to look upon more holistically, and let me help you with these quotations. Equipped with 5 senses, man explore the universe around and call that adventure as a science. I mean, it's just not about facts and experiments. It's about asking those right questions and having that curiosity, okay, I want to learn this thing. And then it's not boring, because some of you feel like, yaar, chemistry, physics mein kya rakha hai? Nature composes some of her loveliest poems for microscope and telescope. I mean, when I interact with science graduates who are really passionate about what they are studying, they are like the artist people I have seen. I mean, they enjoy that. There's a beauty and creativity inside the science as well. And science is simply common sense at best. If you have that common sense and asking that right question and curiosity in place, you are all set for a science career. There are plenty of options, these traditional, non-traditional, agriculture, physics, chemistry, mathematics, geology, zoology, botany, and these are the traditional one. But you can look into food technology, microbiology, information technology, electronics, statistics. I mean, amount of work which is happening in the data space, data mining and data analytics, we are short of the statistics professional. Then biochemistry, if you like both biology and chemistry, and then you can also go into the BSc computer science. Then there are careers like teaching, research assistant, IT, hardware networking, quality analyst, industry operation. If you ask me, after your degree program, you will not become scientist. So don't think that, okay, I will go to the science. The path is, I mean, as I told you, there is no shortcut to success. You have to get at least master and PhD from a good university to become a scientist. So you start as a research assistant or working in that particular industry area, learn from doing that, and then build your further education in that space. You can get into a vocational career like IT, industrial chemistry, polymer chemistry, drugs and dyes, even forensic science. I mean, last week I was in Ahmedabad, and I met with director of Forensic Science University there. He said, amount of work we are doing in the criminal space is humongous, and we don't have right professionals in this area. So these are environmental science. I mean, kind of environmental damages we are doing to the environment. There are people who are required who work in this area. So these are some of the science options. Then you have commerce, and I conduct sessions from Delhi to Chennai and from Mumbai to Kolkata. But wherever I goes, there is still a feeling that, okay, commerce will only lead you to a, if you won't able to get a job, you will do some family business. Or the other way around, if you have a family business, you should go into commerce. But it's not like that. Commerce has changed a lot. There is something called e-commerce is emerging. Sitting here, you can order something online, and before you go home, the product will reach at your home. So the commerce definitions with globalization has changed a lot. So what exactly is a commerce? Commerce link all mankind in one common brotherhood of mutual dependence and interest. This is as simple as it is. Wherever there is a transaction or goods and money get transacted, there is a commerce coming into picture. And commerce is not just about money, because we thought, okay, yeah, it's all about money transactions. It's more about of exchange of it irrespective of place and time. So I'll give you an example, like most of these US bank or Western banks are setting their back offices in India, where their FP&A, which is their finance and accounting operations, are being done by Indians. So there are a lot of opportunities opening both in BPOs and KPOs, more so in KPOs because it required some special knowledge. You have a degree courses like financial accounting, auditing, cost and accounting, banking and finance, corporation taxation, actuarial science, which is insurance, company secretarial practice, business management, foreign trade practice. So all these kind of courses you have, and then there are traditional options like CA, ICWA, CS are also there. These days I have seen Mumbai University offering various flavors of commerce like BCom in banking and finance, BCom in markets, financial market, they call it BFM as a course. These are If you are sure you want to get into banking and finance, go for the banking and finance. If you're sure you want to go into the market side, go for BFM as a course. So these are some niche courses, or more, I will say not niche, but more focused courses are being offered. Then you have a vocational subject like company secretaryship, economic system, export and import. I mean, there also you required a manpower which has that understanding. Market research. I will give you an example. The market research are the companies who go last mile and do a research on consumer behavior. So these are the professionals who do surveys, field surveys, and they are always, I mean, you don't get them, the kind of market research goes in India because a lot of foreign companies are interested setting up their shops. They wanted to understand the market better, but there are lack of these professionals there. Then there is computer system which are more focused on commerce application, like you have SAP, then you have Tally. So you can add it as a like icing on a cake, like you did commerce and then on the top of it you are doing these courses. Then entrepreneurship comes naturally to the commerce people because they have better understanding of the exchange and transaction and about the money. Foreign trade, then investment analysis, these are the other vocational subject you can get. Among your favorite, which is engineering, where you can either go for diploma, then go for degree, and then go for postgraduate. And in between, you can always go for certificate programs like CNC, AutoCAD, computer programming, VLSI, DSP, hardware and networking. I am an engineer, and I don't have problem people becoming engineering or student opting for engineering if they are doing it with firm belief. But let me tell you, the mentality these days is, and I talk to a lot of parents for counseling, because along with kids, I have to counsel parents these days as well. So I ask them a question, why engineering? And the rationale is very easy. They say, okay, if they have a daughter, sir, she will get a job in 4 years, it becomes easy for her marriage. Okay, she is employed and getting married becomes easy. When I ask about their sons, they tell me the rationale. See, why the point of studying for 6 years and 7 years when you can get a job in 3rd year of engineering? And look at the IITs. I mean, what happens is the IITs and IIM salaries come on front page, but what happened to the rest of the batch comes on the inside pages. So they have that feeling like, okay, if you get into engineering, your job is guaranteed. Let me tell you, because the engineering colleges are mushrooming across the nook and corner of this country, the employability in engineering space is hardly 30 to 40%. So what all rest of these engineers do, I'll call them are happily unemployed because they don't get into job, they go into the BPOs, work there. Now engineers you will find even working in the shops. Earlier they used to work in factories, that itself was good. But why this has happened? Because we never thought, okay, why we want to do engineering? Is there a conviction there? And there are plenty of engineering branches, and some of them always need for a specialized talent. So let's look at that. We only think about traditional electrical, mechanical, electronics, civil, computer science, but there are branches like aeronautical, aerospace, automobile, biochemical. I mean, if you like biology, you want to continue with that. You can go into biotechnology as well, provided you have bio in your 12th. Then there is niche programs, like one of the entrepreneur who is going to talk later in this day has done his engineering in chemical technology. So there are dairy, food, industrial instrumentation, manufacturing science, marine engineering, metallurgy engineering, mining engineering, ocean engineering. Plenty of branches are there. But typically what happens is, and when I sit across the table and I conducted interviews for engineer graduates, and bulk of them are not sure which branch they are choosing and why they are choosing.